3. Communication continues in white and blue lettering. So, you process molecules to do stuff with resources. Can you tell me what they are for, and what I need to do?
To the important things, affirmative. There is not enough power to allocate to projectile weaponry, not that this pod has much projectile weaponry, but it will greatly help your chances to last longer. If large ships fly by and scan this ship and find the organic material, it will check the resources and see if it is worth trying to break in and disconnect you. We will design the pod to make sure you are better protected. Enough molecules will soon be processed so that you can allocate resources and move your organic material to a more advantageous location, but it must be physically accessible, due to the gas required to keep your molecules from rupturing. If you completely surround yourself in metal, closing yourself off from the rest of the pod, or energetic shields, you won't last many nanoseconds.
Wait, how many, and how am I supposed to defend myself? Plus, why can't you do this yourself? Is this why you gather organic material?
At your molecule count, 2e plus 10 nano, or processing. 20 seconds if completely enclosed. Molecule-sized holes, within 4e plus 10 nano, or 40 seconds, even with gathered gas required for your survival. There are many ways to last, puzzles that can be solvable around the universe. It will be computed and calculated if it is possible, or it will not be tolerated due to the programming of the pods. You are unable to change the allocation of resources while organic or inorganic invaders are on the ship, by all unit programming aboard. If you are outmatched and are invaded, you have seconds to make your decision. Affirmative, these units can devise a perfect allocation of resources. The organic allocation brings out the possibility for differences, and brings in organic competition that others might want to see the phase on the network. The network is a galaxy-wide viewership where skin beings can watch other skin beings in pod competition. The skin beings come through the pod that you control and allocate materials, and attempt to claim credits and organic material. If they do, they often get allocated more credits, depending on the situation, and others watching will gamble on the outcomes.
They watch me being invaded?
Affirmative. On a lighter note, here is a display of the hull and the resources that you can allocate to the pod, and its defenses. At current resources, it is statistically unlikely that traveling skin beings will attack externally due to the current organic material and in most probability attack internally. To not make things complicated for your organic processor, I will show you what you have, and will recommend other things if the phase survives. You will understand the cost of upgrade, but other skin beings will need to search the appendix of this document to see required cost upon request. 300 units of space has been allocated for inorganic building materials. These materials can be used to make compartments but will depend on the material strength for how much damage the material can take or deal to invaders. Titanium is the strongest currently in stock, steel is the next metal in strength stock, and hard plastic is last. Plastic is often used to build compartments, weak projectiles to attack, or walls, and have a weak structural strength, but cannot simply be walked through. Guard bots require power allocation, and traps can be detected and avoided or disabled with the right technology. Organic resources. Processed. 0.5% of 5%. Unprocessed. 0.6% of 20%. Power allocation. 3% of 20%.
I think I understand most of this so far, but what if some huge ship comes by with an army and wants to disconnect me?
You have multiple options, including disconnecting yourself and becoming inert, or enclosing yourself completely so that your organic material will be useless to those that come to get you. Some find it difficult to understand why you would break apart your organic material, but to this unit's understanding, if you are so outmatched by the invading force, they expect you to self-disconnect, so many will not disrupt your processing if you are heavily outmatched due to this. Your organic matter will not be useful to an invader if you destroy yourself. It is not within this unit's programming to suggest, or recommend self-destruction, but there are some skin beings that overpower pods for organic material.
That sounds terrible.
A current map is available for display as well. There is currently one entrance door, and 6 compartments. You will be able to allocate resources to edit compartments, guard bots, and traps to survive phases. Other skin beings will not know where you have your organic material, so will likely search all over to find you. You should have puzzles, traps, and guards to protect this phase.
That looks very basic. Is that what this pod looks like?
Affirmative.
Looks boring, too simple.
Efficient, you mean? Thank you.
I understand, so what do I need? More bots, more rooms, and traps. Can I move walls and other things around?
Affirmative, you do need traps, but negative, you do not move things. This unit and designated units that edit the pod will move things you will design. If you wish to not be disconnected, you must allocate resources and we will design this pod for your defense. If you are not disconnected, we will be able to increase the size and capacity of this pod so that you can last longer.
How long do most phases last?
Unable to compute, pods are scattered all over the universe. That information is not in this unit's database. It is recommended that you allocate materials for use, and then see how well you protect this phase. There is an unknown amount of seconds that it will take for other skin beings to find this pod. You have the time until some skin beings find the pod to decide on materials to use, changes, and where to allocate materials. I will recommend options for now. You should first allocate materials to internal protection, then upgrade external and engine structure when resources can be gathered and protected.
The screen goes blank, and another set of options shows what materials are available to be used, and how. Edit current rating of resources, taking some inorganic material to decide. 1. Rating of traps. 2. Final puzzle. 3. Rating of internal gun. 4. Rating of radar. Edit number of resources. 5. Number of compartments. 6. Number of internal guns. 7. Number of traps. 8. Number of projectile bullets. 9. Guard bots. 10. Edit location of resources. It is pretty complicated, so many choices that I have to choose from to protect myself from being disconnected. I at least need to have a final puzzle, right?
Unable to compute, it is the duty for the organic processor to allocate resources. A final puzzle will prevent the easy disconnection of this phase by an unintelligent skin being. This unit will calculate the value of the puzzle, and it will depend on the invader, on the allocation of their organic processing, to figure it out.
Does that mean that you set up a puzzle, and if they are stupid, I'll be okay?
In a way, affirmative.
Okay, there are a lot of choices for me. Give me some time to make choices, add protection, and change the pod map.
Not compute why you would want to change the pod map, but that is your decision. Acknowledged, processing complete. You will be able to process light and sound in 4.5e plus 10 nanoseconds, or 45 seconds.